in the walls. And is that logical? Yes. Why is that logical? Because in the plot he says there's a wall on the cell, right? And he need to escape from it. So this could be one way of doing that. So it's logical. So in this step, he has found a tool, which is the metal shield. And can someone give me a prediction of what is going to happen next? And you need to tell me what is the events in the plot and what are your predictions and whether they're logical. Okay. Alright, so maybe Emily.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Events are in the plot where he finds a shield as a tool to break through the cell.
Mm-hmm. So
And
what do you think will happen next?
I thought he will use the shield to escape from the cell, but there might be trouble happening because he can't use the shield exactly, like to opening the door or to clear off the rust, things like that. He must use it.
I understand why you think that he's going to use the shield because he had found the shield and he said he had found a way to escape. But why do you think that there's going to be trouble for him to use the shield to get out? What is the evidence?
This easily, or the stories will not have, or the story will end it up like extremely weird. You don't know what happened. He found a shield and he escaped. What?
Okay.
What happens then?
I can tell that you have read a lot of long novels with those very complicated plots. But is this based on your experience of reading, or is this based on something in the plots of this story? No, I think that's quite okay. Is this based? Okay, you think that he must have some trouble, right, later in using the tool because a story always does so. He won't just, success so easily. Otherwise, that the story will end in a short way. Do you think this is prediction based on your experience or based on this story particular?
I think it was based on my experience of reading.
Exactly. So if it's in a reading text, and well, probably this is not the answer that the examiner is expecting. But in real world, I agree with you. You're right. A story always have different kinds of obstacles, troubles. They won't get what they want so easily, right? Otherwise, there won't be such a long story. But if you're trying to answer this question during an exam or something, you need to based on the facts or the evidence in the plots. Okay? So as for here, there's no really, there's no hints, there's nothing that can prove or can make you think that he's going to have a trouble using them, because he seems quite happy. He seems excited, right, to find that tool, and he's with a lot of hope that he will success soon. Okay, yeah. So that's not based on the plot; it's based on your experience. Thank you, Emily. So that's something that students usually do when they answer questions about predictions. Okay, if it's in an exam, on a test paper, the purpose of this question is not to test your creativity or your imagination or your reading experience. The examiner wants to see whether you could infer or whether you could make logical inference based on some facts in the passage. Okay? So when you explain your prediction, you always tell them, like, what is your evidence? Which word or which sentence make you think so? So if you say, I think he's going to use the metal shield in some way to break out, I think that is quite logical. Right? Okay. So next. He moved under the shield and looked closely at it. One good strong pull will free it. He decided. He reached up and grabbed hold of it and pulled. So, again, a list of verbs, a collection of verbs, right? Very short sentences, one after one after one. How does it make you feel? He decided. He reached up. He grabbed hold of it and pulled. But the shield stayed. He grabbed the shield again, twisting it as he pulled. He felt it free and he fell to the floor, clenching his treasure. With all very short sentences. What does that make you feel? I'm going to ask Peter. Hi, Peter. Yes.
Good then. Oh my god, that's very good luck. Okay, so just making sure the question is, how does that sentence make me feel, right?
How these collections of very short sentences of describing his actions make you feel?
Okay, well, I feel like I feel that time moves fast and every event happens very shortly after the last one.
Right. What makes you feel this?
Well, if you keep saying, for example, but the shield stayed attached to the ceiling. He grabbed the shield again, twisting it as he pulled, and then finally he felt it free. It's not like boring and long and not exciting. So, I don't know.
Right. And why do you think the writer doesn't give us a lot of details about, you know, the shields, the outside of the shield, the structure of the shield, and also, you know, his actions? No, not a lot of details here. Why?
Well, first of all, he's not building a shield, so I think there's no details needed. Second of all, well, it's just describing a fast motion, not describing a subject.
Yes. Some kind of that. Thank you, Peter. Yes, I mean, the purpose of having such a series of action is to tell the reader, like, he finally get that off. You finally get that shield off, and that's the most important information the writer wants to convey. So the rest of it does not really matter. So you feel the tension, right? You feel it was in quite short period of time, and he do that all the way. It's consistent action, right? One after another and after another is smooth, and it goes well. It works very well, right? So clenching his treasure. Here his treasure means the shield. Okay, great. Next. The shield was shaped like a cone and had been fastened to the ceiling by 3 long metal prongs. What are prongs? Have you used a knife and a fork? So this is a fork. Forgive me for my painting skill. This is the best fork I could ever paint. Okay, so these sharp ends are prawns. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are 4 prawns. So these are prawns. So that one was connected to the ceiling by 3 long metal prongs. These prongs were sharp, but they were not strong enough to cut through steel or concrete or cement. What happened? The writer suddenly changed his way of writing, right? Suddenly, there are long sentences and a lot of details, a lot of adjectives. It's so different from, the last paragraph. Why so? Vivian? Are you there? Okay, seems that Vivian's not there. So what about Ethan?
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I think the writer changed his way of writing because it is the rising, it's starting to get to the highest point. So it's rising now, and I have to describe the details thoroughly because the details can also be useful later about his escape, I think. So the writer here have to mention more details in order to just for later other.
Right. So you think that these informations are necessary for explaining how he used these prongs. And think about you're driving a car on a way, okay? So previous paragraphs, you're driving very fast, right? Your speed goes up and you feel like you're a highway and there's no cars go before you or after you, so you're going the way. But suddenly, in this paragraph, how do you feel about your driving? Do you still driving that fast? Or you suddenly slow down? You feel it's like you're suddenly slowed down because of there is a red light in front of you, right? You're driving very fast because you feel like you could get to your destination very quickly. It's so close, like 1 block away. Yes, because he felt that he was success. But then suddenly, he felt a hopelessness creep over him. So can you feel the pace of the story have changed? Suddenly slowed down. And suddenly from very positive, hopeful turn into a rather negative, hopeless. Because they are not strong enough to cut things up. And no use of the shield as a tool. So this may be the first trouble, as someone mentioned before, right? So his first idea seems to have a trouble. It goes not so well. And please pay attention to the word creep. The hopelessness creep over him. So it's not a hopelessness get over him or he feels hopelessness. It's hopelessness creep over. So suddenly, bit by bit, and get over him. Right. So then he had a brilliant idea. Okay, can you feel that this is the second main event in the raising actions? So maybe he's raising actions like, okay, filled, and then this is the second. Brilliant idea, right? Second. Okay. First idea is try to to use the prongs, and then failed. And then second, and the metal prongs on the shield could not cut, but the prongs might be strong enough to dig out the mortar that held the cement blocks. So again, he starts describing the action. He pulled off and scrapped, and the mortar crumbled into powder. Again, a lot of detailed descriptions using different verbs. Okay, a lot of very accurate verbs. So his idea worked. Again, short sentences come back, right? A very exciting tone. If you remove the mortar, he will loosen a couple of cement blocks and then escape. Exclamation as well. And you feel now your car started to speed up again. And you suddenly feel that you can still make it on time to your friend's house for dinner. Right? Okay, now you got to predict again. The man has a new plan. Will it work? Somebody makes their predictions. Nicholas, maybe?
So
What do you think?
Maybe next he will also try to escape, but also maybe conquer. Maybe there's some problems ahead too.
Why do you think so?
So he might,
Why do you think so?
because there is a problem at first already, and he found another way to solve it, and just because this work, I think, was, and as it described it might be very hard to push down those things, to push down the blocks, so there might also be problems ahead.
He wanted to dig out the mortar rather than the blocks. The mortar would be the...
Use them, but he also needs to let the blocks to crumble down, so that might...
Okay, so, alright, so you think that he may succeed in remove the mortar, but finally he would have a problem in taking off the blocks?
Yeah.
Because you think the blocks are quite difficult to remove?
Yes.
Yes, I think that is a logical prediction because, well, in previous paragraphs, the writer did mention that the blocks are really difficult to remove. Okay, thank you, Nicholas. Yes, I think apart from having a very logical prediction, you need to explain or you need to justify your predictions clearly so that the examiner gets your idea. Okay? If Nicola just said that I don't think he would success because blocks are really hard to destroy, and then you won't get the mark because he said he's going to dig out the mortar rather than the blocks. So, but if you say that I think he would successfully remove the mortar, but he still will have problems with the blocks because previously in the paragraph he said that you need to have strong tools to cut through the blocks. Then you will get the mark. So it all depends on how you justify yourself, whether you have used evidence in the plot to support your opinion. Okay, right. So he select 2 blocks and then dig into the mortar and flying out like in a steady stream. So that shows his idea was successful. So it was just what he needed. Very successful. But then the metal prong broke into 2 useless pieces. So he had his second failure here, right? They broke. Okay, so a wave of anger stunned him. This is another good word of describing his feelings. And so the first sentence would be hopelessness creep over him. So now is a wave of anger stunned him. Then he remembered something he put off. He decided there was still plenty of time left. Again, he started to do his third challenge, right? So positive, negative, positive, negative, positive again. There was still plenty of time. And then he had another failure. And what's his third failure? We're here. Can somebody summarize his third failure? So who? When?
Hi.
So what happened to his third challenge?
When he started his third challenge, his second prong broke again, so he had no prongs left.
How many prongs does he have?
He has, I think, 4 prongs.
Really? How did you know?
Is it?
No, check. Check information in a story.
Let me check. Wait.
Or you can ask people to help you in the comments.
Maybe Emily?
No, you check the comment area. Check the chatting board. People are helping you.
Oh, yes, 3 prongs. Okay, 3 prongs.
Yeah, so how many he has left?
He have one left, is it?
Thank you. I think your math would be great. Thank you, Wayne. Yes, I mean, you have 3 and then 2 of them broke, then you only 1 left. Okay, so this is an important moment for him, right? So there's only 1 left, whether you're gonna use that one up or whether you're gonna sit and consider again. Now let's do a reflection on you. Okay, if you are the man, your second prong broke, you got only 1 left. What would you do? Someone would any of the other students would like to try? Cause really want to hear different ideas. Okay, let's ask Found Angel. Hi. Can't hear you. So, all right. I think probably you need a headset to do that. Okay. Anyone? Or okay, so Thomas.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so what will you do?
So if I am the man and my second prong broke, what would I do? I would try to use the third prong more carefully, but I won't consider it again.
So we'll keep digging out the motor. Will you consider, trying another strategy, or are you gonna keep working on remove the motor?
So I think I would try both. So I would keep removing the mortar, but also I am going to try that if there's any more ways to escape, because I would predict that my third prong wouldn't going to last very long either.
And so will you take a break? Like you would take a break, for example, of 50 minutes? You wouldn't. Because of the time limit.
Yeah, it was only 3 hours, and so if I didn't hurry, well, there's a chance that I will not succeed in the experiment.
But it's very difficult to do both. Like if you're in a cell and you're quite tired, and you only have one prong, and if you're busy digging, and then you won't have, time or energy or space to think of another strategy, right?
Yeah, so I would keep digging, and I think that is the reason in the end of the story the man loses, because we sidetracked ourselves. We think that we succeed. We think that we could succeed by this way, but actually we could not.
You cannot re-evaluate the situation.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Yes, I mean, when you answer a question like this, if the teacher asks you, or if this is on the exam paper, okay, asking you, if you were the man, or if you were the main character, what would you do? So, do you think you need to refer to any of the facts or any of the plots in a story to back up your idea? Or you think that you could completely use your own imagination and you could completely, based on your experience and your knowledge, to answer that question? Ethan, what do you think? Is Ethan?
Teacher, I don't know.
Okay. Ethan is such a straightforward guy. We say, I don't know. Right. Yeah. I mean, yes, I like that answer. Is straight to the point. But if you're in a speaking exam or something, you trying to, well, you can say, I don't know, but I guess maybe you're trying to speculate. Okay, you're trying to say something. All right. Let's ask, who think, is there anyone knows the answer? Vivian? Are you there? No? Okay, Vivian's not there. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this question. If the question is about if you were him, what would you do? Then you can answer that question with your idea. So it's all about your experience, your knowledge. You don't have to quote anything from the plot to support you. Okay? Because you're thinking of solving the problem as you, not as the main character in the story. Okay? But if you're asked to predict what the main character would do, later, and then you're trying to think on his behalf. You are him, you're not you. Alright? So there's two very different kind of question, which expects two completely different kind of strategy from you. And that's maybe the reason why you can't get the full mark of such questions. Because they do have their expectations on you of the answer. For example, for the prediction questions, you definitely need to have something, taken from the plot as evidence to back up your prediction, and you need to justify yourself. But in the relating to you question, you don't need that. You just say, if I were him, I would do this because I have learned how to destroy a room. I have tried that before. I think I'll just take a rest because I don't like working out, and I blah blah blah. And that's totally fine. That's about imagination and problem solving skills. Alright. So last but not least, he kind of win, right? But it's a very difficult approach to win. So he become numb to the pain, to the ache, right? His finger moved blindly, and he attacked against the mortar grew weaker and weaker. Although at last he broke through, but there's no very short sentences, no excitement you can feel there, and no exclamation marks. So it's not a very happy success, right? It's like finally he did that before the last second. The writer spent a lot of words on the pain and on the, for example, like his hands were bleeding, right? His back are hurting, right? And the mortar dust went into his eyes and throat, and it's hard work and is a hard win. So what's the key point? Why does the writer write this part so? Because, well, he wants to show that this is not the best way to win the game, right? So he chipped away at the rest of the mortar, and he seems win, right? He started at the useless pieces. The blight range, he slammed his fist against the wall. So what's the best way to win? Well, if he look around the room carefully, and he will find out that, well, the door is open all the time. So he had his cleverness sidetracked him. So this is the main idea that the writer wants to tell you. So the writer weakened his success, weakened his progress to put more emphasis on the fact that there are better ways. And let's get back to the previous description about the door, right? Now we know that the door was actually open and is open all the time. Let's get back to the sentences about the door. There was no way out, or so it seems to him. Do you now understand this sentence? Why does the writer have this part? Because this is not the truth. This is what he sees, but not the truth. Okay? And let's come back to this sentence. The door was so big, right? For a moment, you wonder if there had been put up the door first and then the rest of the sail built around it. Why the door is so big? I mean, the door is the whole point. People usually ignore the biggest thing or the most obvious thing in front of them, and they always start to think from, small places, the tricky places like the light bulb, right? So you have this kind of belief. This is called belief. Like, there must be some, tricks here and there. He even searched for track doors, right? So he even thought that maybe some of the walls might be the real door, but, So he missed the most important point, and it's so obvious. It's so big, but he missed it. This would be called elephant in the room. Have you heard about it? Elephant in the room. Nope. Okay, maybe you can search for it. Elephant in a room means that something really obvious, everyone knows, but people tend to ignore it. Yeah, elephant in the room. Okay, so we've dealt with most parts, like I would like to share about the reading. It's probably more than what the book is about. But I think these are the points that worth mentioning. So we're not teaching vocabulary or grammar or this kind of thing. We are dealing with reading strategies. How should we read and how should we write, and the reason to have such approaches and strategies and so on. And okay, right. So your homework, you can try to finish the analyze part. Is not very difficult, okay? And I'm giving you this assignment 1. So make a sequence flowchart about experiments. So like this, you can have many circles to summarize the main events. You can have as many as you want, okay? And the second one is I want you to put the events in the diagram, okay, to summarize the plots in experiments. So you don't really need to use the pyramid. You only need to use this one, the simplified version of it. And I'll ask KK to send this to the WeChat group, so you could get it. And also you could summarize the key points of the lesson, but keep that to yourself. Or if you like to share with other people, you leave that in the comments. Okay? So you can leave that in the comments for this lesson so that everyone can see, and you could like each other's comments, and maybe you could communicate a bit in the comments. Okay, so I'm gonna see you next week, and next week we're going to talk about superstitious, which is the next passage in this unit. So your pre-task for next week would be to go through superstitious. But don't worry, I'm gonna send that to the group chat as well. Okay? Alright. Bye bye. We're gonna start. Hi everyone. So last week we've been talked about short stories. We've been talked about the setting and the plot of short stories. Well, usually it works the same for longer stories and novels. But in this unit we're focusing on shorter stories, so we're going to try and